Hello everybody and welcome to this presentation. My name is Purup and I am an industrial PhD student from NIAS. These other guys are the co-authors of the paper. In this presentation I will talk about a typical design activity called volume massing, in which the architect defines the outer boundary of a building volume in relation to the context. And we aim for informing this process with some building performance simulations on indoor climate. In research, there are a lot of nice suggestions for how to apply building performance simulations into the design practice in order to support design choices. And many of these suggestions seems very smart and efficient. However, the uptake and the use of these suggestions are very limited into the design practice. Actually, to our knowledge, it's almost none. The architects are simply not using all this new technology and they are not benefiting from all the smart technology the developers and the researchers are suggesting. Therefore, we ask the architects, why are you not using all this technology and why are you not benefiting from it? And they answer simply because the technology and the existing tools do not fit their design practice. Therefore, we invited the architects into the research and development of building performance simulation applications in the hope that we would get a better understanding of their actual needs. We conducted some semi-structured interviews asking about their design activities throughout the volume massing process, and we also hosted a workshop with a lot of different exercises, all explained in the paper. Here's a picture of one of the exercises, which were a paper prototype of a possible application, and we also held some following up meetings with the architects throughout the development of this application prototype. So I have a short movie of the application prototype I would like to show you before going deeper into the technology behind the prototype. And all the technology are described in the paper. So the first thing you have in a volume massing process is a model. And here we have a model of the building on one layer and the context on another layer in the Rhino environment. For the Crashop environment, we can open up the plugin. And we can decide what type of room is it and where is the building located, as in what weather file are we using. Then we can define what layers is the building geometry on and the context geometry, when we can preview to see what geometry is actually loaded into the plugin. Then we can set the glazing type and shading and define some glazing percentage, which could be divided into different orientations. Then we can simulate. And then the simulation is completed. We can also look at the results. Here we have some different results. For instance, the energy use, and here we have the comfort, the zones, the percentage of zones of the building which are in comfort in relation to different indoor climate rules. We can also save the simulation for later use. And we could go into the model. And then we can see the results directly on the building geometry. Here we have hours above 26 degrees in a color scale. We have in comfort and outside comfort, a color with red and green. And we can choose some different regulations. And the architects can see what areas or specific areas in the building are critical and how critical is the room. We could also compare the results with earlier simulated results from other design suggestions. Yeah, so you can check the performance from that. Let's have a look on the simulation technology behind this application prototype. This technology are described and tested in the paper, so you can read more about it in there. First, we have an architectural model of the building and the context. The building volume surface is then divided into smaller parts, and we are imagining that we have a room behind each part of the facade. The external solar radiation is then estimated for all these small parts, and we are clustering the parts in relation to the solar intensity. Then we define some representative rooms for each cluster. In this case, we have 8 rooms. And we loop through all these 8 rooms, simulating the performance of the room, and use these results to interpolate back to the whole building. The reason we can do this is because if you look at the simulated hours above for all room, which were above 500 rooms, and it took 6 hours to estimate, they correlate quite well with the external annual solar radiation for all these areas. So we can use some of these points to interpolate through all the rooms in just few minutes. It will not give the completely same results, but as you can see, they are quite similar, and it will give the architect an idea of where the design are going in relation to indoor climate. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.